It's easy to get discouraged and think it's never going to improve. But the way you win some battles is not by defeating the opposition, but by outlasting the opposition. You have to have staying power. You can't be weak and give up because it's not happening on your timetable. Some enemies are stubborn. You have to outlast the trouble at work, outlast the difficulty in your marriage, outlast the slow season in your. I want to talk to you today about outlast the opposition. We all have things that come against us in life. People that aren't fair. We're dealing with an illness. Our business has gone down. We're praying, believing, doing the right thing, but nothing is changing. It's easy to get discouraged and think it's never going to improve. But the way you win some battles is not by defeating the opposition, but by outlasting the opposition. You have to have staying power. You can't be weak and give up because it's not happening on your timetable. Some enemies are stubborn. You have to outlast the trouble at work, outlast the difficulty in your marriage, outlast the slow season in your finances. We want God to deliver us from the attack, but if He's not changing it, it's real simple. You have to outlast it. But sometimes we feel like God has forgotten about us. We've seen Him turn situations around in the past, but this problem won't seem to go away. God is still going to turn it around, but this time He's going to do it a different way. You have to have a holy determination, a made-up mind where you dig your heels in and say, I am in it for the long haul. Quitting is not an option. I am going to outlast this sickness. I'm going to outlast the addiction. I'm going to outlast this injury. How bad do you want what God promised you? If you give up easily, you didn't want it bad enough. If you let people discourage you, bad breaks talk you out of it, delays cause you to quit believing, then you're going to miss what God has for you. There are two kinds of faith, delivering faith and sustaining faith. Delivering faith is when God instantly turns it around. That's when we defeat our Goliaths. We don't have to wait. We don't have to endure. God suddenly shows out in our life. But most of the time, we're going to need sustaining faith. That's when God takes us through the difficulty, through the challenge. He could turn it around right now. He could change it instantly. But if He did that every time, our faith would never develop. It wouldn't grow like it should. Something happens in the struggle when our mind tells us it's never going to work out. But in our heart, we know what God promised is on the way. Our mind says, you're wasting your time. There's no use even believing anymore, but you just keep on keeping on, trusting God, thanking Him that it's on the way. That's sustaining faith. Now, don't think that everything is going to be easy. Don't expect every person to be for you. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it's not going to happen. The victory is on the other side of the opposition. It takes staying power, a made-up mind, someone that's not moved by the circumstance. A friend of mine works for this big company. For years, his supervisor was against him. He was always putting him down, making him look bad. This supervisor even went to the main boss and tried to get this man fired, but the boss wouldn't do it. The boss took all of his other recommendations. Why wouldn't he take this one? Because God is in control of your life. Not people, not the sickness, not the addiction. God has the final say. And this supervisor was always spreading rumors about this man, trying to poison him in front of all the other employees. But this man just kept doing the right thing, overlooking offenses, being good to people. One morning, this supervisor was called into the main office. He'd been with the company over 20 years, looked like he would retire there. But that day, he was unexpectedly terminated. They let him go. A few minutes later, they called my friend in. Out of all the people there, they gave him the supervisor's job. He said, Joel, I wasn't qualified for the position. There were others in front of me, but for some reason, they chose me to head up this department. The scripture says, the trap the enemy set for you, they will fall in themselves. You may have people against you, trying to discredit you, make you look bad. you don't have to fight those battles. Just outlast the opposition. Keep doing the right thing. Keep being faithful each day, and God will take care of who's trying to stop you. God told Moses in the book of Exodus to go tell the Pharaoh to let the Israelites go. They had been in slavery for many years. Moses told God that he didn't want to go, that Pharaoh wouldn't listen to him. He finally went, but it was just like Moses thought. The Pharaoh basically laughed at him, said, Moses, who are you to tell me what to do? You have no authority here. I don't have to listen to you. Moses went back and said, God, I told you wouldn't listen. I told you it wouldn't work out. What's interesting is the scripture says that God caused Pharaoh to be stubborn so he could show his power in a greater way. God had Moses go back again and again, but he already knew Pharaoh would say no. He caused him to harden his heart. Moses could have said, God, I give up. I'm doing what you asked me to do, but it's not making a difference. No, he just kept doing the right thing, even though nothing was changing. Everything in him said, you're wasting your time. It would have happened by now. This man's never going to change his mind. He had to outlast Pharaoh's stubbornness. Now, I wonder if you're frustrated by an enemy that God is causing to be stubborn. He's not letting it work out yet, because he's going to use that situation to catapult you to a new level. All you can see is nothing is improving. What you can't see is what God is about to do. The doors he's about to open, the healing, the favor, the vindication, the breakthroughs. Now, you may have some stubborn enemies. The good news, they are not too stubborn for our God. He would not have allowed it if he wasn't going to bring you out better. Now, you have to get your fire back. Dig your heels in a little bit deeper and show the enemy you're more determined than he is. God didn't bring you this far to leave you. He didn't let Pharaoh say no because he's more powerful. God is setting you up to show out in your life. He allowed the opposition not to stop you, but to promote you. Paul said in Ephesians, having done all to stand. He was saying, when you've done everything you can, you've done your best to get well, you've been good to people that weren't good to you, you've worked hard and haven't seen increase, what do? Get upset, discouraged, give up? No, just stand. Standing is trusting God, knowing that he is in control. When you're standing, you're not frustrated by what's not happening. You're not complaining because it's taking so long. You're at peace. You're at rest. You know what God started in your life, he's going to finish. The Amplified says, stand firm, immovable. That means you're not moved by the medical report. You're not moved by how your child is acting. You're not moved by the contract that didn't go through. You're steadfast. You keep believing. You keep thanking God. You keep being your best. Quitting is not an option. Giving up is not in your mindset. You know what God promised is on the way. If it's not happening, no big deal. You just keep standing. I was at the beach one time when our children were small. Alexandra was 3 and Jonathan was 6. We were having a fun time making castles in the sand when this little yellow bumblebee came and landed right beside us. Well, Alexandra screamed and took off running, and I just swatted him out of the way, and we went back to playing. 30 seconds later, he was right back, flying all around us. The kids started screaming. I got my towel and I swatted him down to the ground. I thought I showed him who's boss. A minute later, there he was again. Man, just buzzing all around, annoying us. This time, I not only swatted him to the ground, but I got my tennis shoe and I squashed him into the sand as hard as I could. I thought, I'm tired of dealing with him. A couple of minutes later, I looked over just to make sure he was still dead. I couldn't believe it. I saw one wing barely start to move. Then another wing came up out of the sand. He walked around for a few seconds like he was in a daze. I was amazed not only that he was still alive, but that he could get back up again. About that time, he took off flying in the air away from me. And just when I thought I was done with him, he turned around and headed right back toward us. I thought, you've got to be kidding. This bee is like the Terminator. I'll be back. He came and buzzed by my head like 4 or 5 times. I had to dodge to get out of the way. Alexandra said, Daddy, get the towel. I said, no, Alexandra, this bee deserves to live. I'm 1,000 times bigger than him, and I still can't kill him. When life tries to push you down, step on your dreams, squash your health, you've got to do like that little bumblebee and get back up again. Outlast what's trying to defeat you. The power